right, well, obviously that wasn't good enough. Oh, boy. We'll start over. Obviously that wasn't good enough in any way, shape, or form, and that's my responsibility. So I have to do a much better job of getting ourselves ready to go here. We're better than that, and I apologize to Raider Nation for that performance, and again, I own that. That's my responsibility. So we have to do much better, obviously, in every phase of the game to be able to compete with a team like that who's well coached, has good players. They obviously came ready to play and did a much better job than we did. So it starts with me, and we're going to work hard and we're going to fix it.
Given the hill that you guys are trying to climb to get back into this, obviously there's a sense of urgency, but how can something like this happen?
Yeah, we're gonna have to figure that out. Obviously, there's no shortcut to that. We've performed and played much better than this. We've coached better than this, and when we play a game like this backwards on the road against a good team in a hostile environment, it's difficult. You make things difficult on yourself. So, didn't get off to a good start. And again, they did, and credit to them. Dennis did a great job with his team today, and like I said, I got to do better.
What do you want, and what do you expect the response to be from the guys?
I don't think there's any big speech to give. Look, the season's still, again, there's a lot of football still left to be played and coached. We have to work. The only way to fix things that aren't being done well, only way to win when you're not winning consistently, is to put work in and try to improve. Clearly, we need to improve in all three phases. That's our job. That's my responsibility. And like I said, that's what we're going to have to do, and that's what we will do.
Coach, you've always been honest in holding yourself accountable. You alluded to that a little bit today, but do you feel like this team was adequately prepared for this game today?
I mean, clearly we did. The performance doesn't represent that, but it doesn't matter what I say now about our week of practice or anything like that. Like I said, I'm responsible for it, and, I have to do a better job of getting us better prepared if that's the best we can do.
In the passing game. Let's start with the O-line, or the coverage was really tough. What did you see as far as your guys play?
I would say there was probably a litany of things. I think the penalty situation, obviously we've tried to steer clear of that this year, and that didn't really help us falling behind the sticks. I'd say half the drives it felt like we were trying to dig out of 1st and 20 or 2nd and long. They mixed their coverages up pretty well. They got some pressure on our passer. So I think, until I see everything, on the film, it'd be hard to pinpoint one area. But when you pass the ball well, it's usually a function of a lot of people doing their jobs right. And when you don't, it doesn't take many things to go wrong to hurt that. So we're going to need to protect well, read the coverage right, run good routes, finish throws and catches. I mean, that's what it takes against a good defense. And they challenged us today. They played some tight coverage. It wasn't all just, zone or cover 2 or anything like that. They mixed it up pretty well on us. And the most important thing they had was control of the game. They got control of the game. And when you get control of the game, then you can pretty much call whatever you want on your side. And the other side is kind of, you're defending a lot of different things. And that's what it felt like we were doing today.
The decision to the fake punt, did you kind of feel like you were talking about the control?
There's always an opportunity to do that, in the kicking game sometimes, where you build in calls where, depending on the look, you might have a shot at it or those kind of things. I think most teams are doing that nowadays. Obviously, it didn't work out in our favor. We'll have to see exactly what happened on that. And, but when you do those things, it comes down to execution, and they obviously did a better job than we did.
To the pressure, it seemed like they were really disruptive up front. Did they do anything that surprised you guys up there?
No, I mean, they got a good front. Again, I think I think most importantly for us is when you're behind the sticks, I would say, as we were a number of times, they can pin their ears back and rush, and they run a lot of stunts in games. They have good players. They have a good scheme, and they obviously executed it better than we did. But, we don't, being in the shotgun, however many times we were, and trying to dig out from long yardage situations is really never a good formula against a team that can rush the passer like they can. So we're going to need to do a better job on first and second down, obviously, to stay away from those situations.
Defensively, it seemed like you guys lost Kamara at times. Is that your vantage point? That you kind of didn't know what
He's a
it
good
was?
player. I mean, we mix zone, man, different things. I mean, he did some pretty slick things there to get open. He's a point of attack guy for him. Clearly, we didn't do a good enough job with him, or we didn't do a good enough job tackling either, I don't think, when he had the ball in space. But tried to play, I thought competitive in the running game until it just got out of hand there late in the game. And I thought we were that, but, just too many opportunities for him in space. When that happens, he's eventually going to make some big yards, and that's what he did.
What's the message now, Josh, of those guys in the locker room, now that you get away from home for a week?
Yeah, just, look, there's no shortcut to improving. And, it starts with me. I got to work hard. They got to work hard. And that's what we're going to do. I think we have a great group in the locker room. They're very resilient. They practice hard. They study. They prepare. Again, like I said, if you're going to point a finger, point it at me. Obviously, I need to do a better job of getting us ready on game day. But no, I love the group in there. I think they really band together. I thought they fought hard in the second half. We didn't do anything offensively to help ourselves get back in the game, but there was no quit in the football team. I think that's not something to build on, but that's the way you're supposed to play. Play every down, every minute of the game. So just come back to work, this week. We'll be down in Florida, band together here and try to get a victory next weekend against another good team and see what we can do.
How stunning is that to, offensively at least, not even cross the 50-yard line until the last drive of the game?
It's disappointing, very disappointing, and like I said, obviously I got to do a better job.
Devontae Adams with only one reception, and that reception coming in the fourth quarter. For a player of his caliber to have that type of performance, how much of it is like game plan and route based, and how much of it is like good defensive coverage?
You could probably throw it all in there somehow, some way. I know we had a few opportunities. I know the one, he made a great catch on the one, and it didn't get overturned. I thought we had a couple other opportunities, but look, people pay attention to really good football players, and obviously that's what he is, and he wants to get going and get started, and and we're trying to do that. And again, I got to do a better job of finding him early in the game and getting him involved.
All right, guys, thank you very much.
Good to go? Okay.
Derek, given where you guys are in the standings, there's a sense of urgency around this team. Is there any explanation for how or why something like that could happen?
No, but when you come out, against a good defense, against a good team, you have to be ready to play. And, it starts in the week of practice. It starts in, when you show up to the field. I've played these guys a couple times. I've played this scheme a lot, obviously. They've been good. They've stopped some of the best offenses in football. And they've had times where they've up and down, all this kind of stuff. But, we saw the best version of it today. We felt that was going to happen. And so, you got the mindset to come in and be ready for, the physicality, the violent, game that they want to play, and certain things. I thought that they were, came out with more of that than we did as players.
Is there anything that you can put your finger on why that would happen?
No, me and Josh, we talk, and we're communicating throughout the game, throughout the week, all the time, figuring those things out, and him and I we'll sit down, we'll talk, as the leaders and all that kind of stuff, and figure that out and put our finger on it. But that's just embarrassing. We can't have that. That's that right there is embarrassing, and that should never happen, especially with the group of guys in that locker room. And it sucks that we went through it. It happened. You give them credit. Great defense, great scheme. The DA did a great job. Their players played hard. They did a great job. And so, we got to take a look at ourselves, though, and really check and see how we want to go into this next game.
What do you want the response to be in that locker room?
Just more urgency. I think urgency is the word. Urgency in the meetings, in the walkthrough, competitive. There's nothing, no one's going to give you anything in this league, and I think that we as a whole are learning that. We learned that today, and you hope that's the last time, that's what you hope.
Are you surprised by the lack of urgency? I mean, it's a kind of a veteran team, kind of guys who've been around, yourself included. So are you surprised the leaders didn't do a better job this week of getting the guys ready?
That's on us, 100%, Vic. If you look at somebody and see it, we got to say something, all that kind of stuff. But I think it was more of an awakening that, I thought we had a good week of practice, But now you go back and look at it and be like, now you really look at it and be like, was it as good as we thought it was? Did we come, or was it just the mindset of waking up this morning and coming out to the game, And we'll talk about that. We'll look at that. But it starts with us, 100%. We'll look at that and try and, as a whole, one thing I know about our team is that we've responded every time that there's been challenges. Every time that we've went through something, we respond the right way. We come to work the right way, and we have a great opportunity to be together all week, to do that. Not that you ever want to go through this, but if you have to, go through something like this, well, we're all together now, and so let's see what we can do this week.
I guess along those lines, you guys had a really demoralizing, lopsided loss last year before you went on the run that everyone remembers. Is there anything you guys learn from that or can take out of that to apply this year?
I think the guys that were here, we can as players, as coaches that were here, you want to apply those things. But Josh and everybody, they've been through so many things as well. I've talked to him many times about times they went out with how great their offense was for so many years and had a game like this or something like that, and what the response looked like. What things Tom did, things Julian did, things Gronk did. Things that those guys did throughout the week to make the team better. But it's going to be an amazing challenge to see how we respond as a team.
Can you recall any game at any level where your offense never crossed midfield, and how was the frustration level as it went along?
Well, it was very frustrating. Like I said, it's embarrassing. Like, we're so much better than that, but we didn't earn that today. But you take a look at it, and you got a lot of guys that care a lot in that locker room that will be very self-critical, and I promise you, try and do better next week.
In some ways, Derek, does it help to be on the same coast here, staying over here to kind of shut out all the other noise and just focus on practice and getting back to what this team can be?
I honestly think it is a good thing for our guys. We're going to be around each other. We're in the hotel, we're together. Hopefully, guys will get around each other. There's nothing else to do. There's nowhere to go. We're in the hotel, we're together, we're working. That's the only thing that's going to fix it, is doing all the things Josh is going to lay out for us in our plan, going forward this week. It's not going to just roll the ball out there and just be better. Heightened sense of urgency, competitive, really make practice competitive, really try and dominate when we get out there, and come in with the right mindset, this weekend here in 7 days.
I know you haven't watched the film yet, but Devontae one catch, Hunter one catch. Something they did that kind of surprise you guys, or something maybe it was just the protection or coverage. What did you see on the field as far as what was giving you a hard time?
Well, there was a couple times that I was trying to step up, pump it one way, find a window and things like that. There was also a couple where someone was there and I had to dish it to Josh or dish it to someone else, something like that. There was Hunter had a big play. I went to throw it and Chris Harris left his guy, or I think it was Chris, someone on the flat. So Foster ended up getting us the first down. That was an opportunity. We had another one to Hunter on a little sail, little concept, and then something happened up front. He ran a great route, beat the guy. There was the one I threw the pick on to Hunter. Waiting on the window. I tried to sneak it behind the guy, and he got his hands on it and tipped it up. There's so many different things that happened. And again, I'm not worried. We were seeing it. We were going to the places Josh wanted to go and things like that. But us as players, we just got to do better. And it starts with that competitive juice and practice of dominating that. And hopefully we'll do that this week.
Can you talk a little bit about Foster's day coming back here to New Orleans?
Yeah, I know that he had a lot of family here, a lot of friends, and we're professionals. We're trying to win football games, but that's a cool moment for his family to see someone who grew up here and probably dreamed of maybe playing here, and all those things. End up going to LSU. There's so much there, and so I'm sure for his family, I'm sure that was a really cool moment. For them to be able to see him back in their hometown and do, playing football.
Sorry, first time you guys have been shut out since your rookie year at St. Louis. That game was sandwiched between two wins, your first win ever, and then you came back and beat the 49ers.
Yeah.
What type of lesson, granted 8 years ago, but what type of lesson can you impart from that game? And this felt similar.
Yeah, it's funny you said that. I thought of the same game when I was sitting on the sideline. And, there was some similarities that I'm going to keep to myself that I saw in that, but things I can draw from. I think that's a nice thing about having experience, is that you can speak into something because you've been through it, And so I thought of the same game, Paul. I really did, and I also, hopefully looking forward, it doesn't promise us anything, just because we did it back then, just because I went through something then. But it does give me some things that I can put my finger on with certain guys and with myself, and to make sure that I'm better, make sure we're better going forward. But we gotta correct this tomorrow, and we gotta flush it as fast as we can and get ready to practice, because the only thing that's gonna fix it is on that practice field.
Are you confident this is a one-game aberration?
I mean, I hope so. But if I say anything else and it happens again, I'll get quoted. So.
How can you better counter teams such as the Saints with like really good defensive fronts?
Yeah, I mean, there's a lot of ways. Running the ball, different screens, different ways to protect and different things like that. I think Josh does a great job of that, if I'm honest. I just thought that they did a good job today. They played hard. They made it hard on some things, made it hard for me. They did a good job. I told DA after the game, I saw him, I said, great job today. He really did a great job, and you got to give them credit. We can't take anything away from them. They earned it today. But yeah.
All right, thanks, guys.
Good. Thanks. Yep.